Hi, I'm Debbie. Come on in. So today we're going to look at tastes and foods and how they change during our lifetime or because of circumstances or for whatever reasons, and I have a special guest. So what is taste? Well, taste is what your taste buds can detect, and they can detect sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami or savory. But taste is much more than just what our taste buds can detect. There's also flavor, which is what we smell. And so when what we smell, the flavor, combines with what our taste buds detect, and then in the mouth, along with the texture and the feel of everything, that's how we get the complete food experience. The average person will have about 9,000 taste buds. A super taster could have even twice that amount. So let's meet my guest. And if this content interests you, then click the like button and subscribe to my channel.
I want to welcome Roger Bertrand all the way from the UK, and I'm in Canada. He has a channel called Roger's World and Adventures, and he does videos about well-being. So please check out his channel. The link will be in the description below. And welcome, Roger. I'm so glad to have you participate in this video. Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, good morning.
Yeah. So tell me, since we're going to talk about taste and how our tastes change over our lifetime, are there any tastes that you really don't like? There's sour, sweet, bitter, salty, and like savory. Are there any that you really just do not like?
Right, what I don't like, well, when I was a child, I liked most food. I was not really fussy about food. It's only just a few things I didn't like, and some of my tastes have stayed the same, but some have changed later on in life. So, for example, things I don't like is something like popcorn. When I went to the cinema, I tried it once or twice. I just don't like, dislike it. Same with nuts and stuff like that. It's too salty, and for me, I cringe when I put it in my. It makes me cringe. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, when
I love popcorn and nuts.
Yeah, and then also I was very fussy with cheese and Gruyere, or I don't know how you pronounce it in English, the one with the hole in it.
Gruyere, yeah.
Yeah, and Gruyere, no, I never had it, and I still don't have it. However, I was quite fussy with other cheese when I put other cheeses when I put in my food. Yeah. But now I'm not so fussy about it. Is that I can easily have pasta and cheese with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past I didn't. However, I did like cheese after the meal, like camembert or stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
What I don't really like is the very strong cheese. And if I do have it, it was with a nice meal, with perhaps a glass of wine to make it. Yeah, but otherwise,
Okay.
I would not have it like that. It's too
So
strong.
what about Stilton? Because that's a very strong cheese. Would that be too strong for you?
Which one, sorry?
Stilton, you know, the English blue cheese, I think, or green cheese?
Yeah, probably. But I don't think I've tried it. Anything very strong, I would find it difficult to eat. Yeah, like the French Roquefort is quite strong as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably a bit too much for me. So I like something more sweet, more. I don't know how to describe it, but like doux.
Mild in flavor.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I like my coffee. I always have, but obviously I've reduced my intake of coffee by a lot a few years ago, and I'm drinking now and again. I mostly drink decaf, but now and again I have a proper coffee, because if I drink too much proper coffee, it upsets me. And then there was a coffee I used to like a lot, and the train name is Downberg, and we used to buy it from Asda here in the UK. Anyway, Asda or Sainsbury's don't really matter, but I used to like it a lot. And then one day, and that's only a few years ago, and one day I had it, I felt sick, and and my chest just flipped like a coin, you know.
Yeah.
Face or tail, yeah, just flipped. And so after, then I said to Gwen at the time, oh, maybe I can try again. And I tried, and no, it just the taste gone.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. It's funny. I had the same thing happen to me with pierogi. I would eat it all my life, and then it was maybe a month or two ago, I pulled some out of the freezer and I smelled it, and that was it. I can't eat it. It just, something makes me just like, I cannot eat it, which is, so it's funny how our tastes kind of change over our lifetime. So since the start of the pandemic, would you say you're eating healthier?
Yeah, because when I am in France, we had a good habit to eat really healthy in my family, and they still have. So we eat. So for example, 2 or 3 years back, when I went to France for 5 days, just 5 days, and I had vegetable every single day, twice a day.
Yeah.
Okay? And I felt so much better after just 5 days. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
when I came back, I started to go back into my bad habits, I would say. But then me and Gwen, we started to try to change slowly, which we did. It was a very slow process. At the beginning of March, at the beginning of the pandemic, after Gwen just passed, then I decided to eat vegetables every day, and I've done ever since. And then I put my meat or my fish in the oven, for example. I cook my vegetables in the pan, so I boil them, and then I put some mushrooms and onions, for example, in a frying pan, and I put everything together at the end. And then what I do, I also use some bistro granules that's sold in the UK.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, and that makes a nice sauce because they got onion. They've got different flavors, which I use, put on my meal. And then since I've been doing this gardening challenge with Quincy, Lily and Tomatoes, and that's her channel. So since I've been doing that, and then I've grown some pea shoots, which I ate, and I will be doing a few gardening challenges, that small space gardening, she calls it. And so I intend to grow more food myself, because at least I know there is no chemicals in it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, I have a garden all summer long. I grow carrots and spinach and kale and peas and beans and tomatoes and cucumber and zucchini and herbs. And it's not a big space, but I grow a little bit of everything, just enough that we have fresh vegetables all summer long. But
do you have a greenhouse for doing it? Because can you grow in winter over there?
I could grow in winter. Yeah, I could find a few places where I could do small garden things. And I've been thinking of doing that after watching your video where you grew the pea shoots. I was thinking, maybe I'm going to do that this winter, because I have a lot of sunlight, like spaces where I could put the plants. Well, I know here we eat a lot of vegetables also. And I find, like you said, I feel much better when I'm eating a lot of vegetables. Well, would you say you're cooking more at home now because of the pandemic, and is eating healthier because of the pandemic?
Beginning of March, then I started to do my, so I kept it simple for myself. I said, right, I had 5 vegetables I wanted to eat, which are leek, cauliflower, carrots, potatoes, and carrots. And then now I've added my pea shoots and all that. I eat my mushrooms when I put them in and onions as well. So that's my basic thing. And what I'll probably try next time is, when I go shopping next, buy some aubergine. Put some ham in it. Buy me some mushroom. Put it in the oven. Let's say for 20 minutes. And then try that, because he said my mom used to do that. Use aubergine. Put them in the oven. So I said, okay, I'll try that, because aubergine is good for you as well, isn't it?
I used to do that, make kind of like layers of aubergine, or I can't think what's the other word for it, but anyway, and do it kind of like a lasagna, but instead of using a noodle, I'd use the sliced aubergine, and it was really good, like a casserole sort of.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, like for me, I've tried to reduce how much salt I eat over the last, say, 10 years. And now I can't eat a lot of restaurant food. It's just too salty. Or some prepared food, like from the grocery store. Like if you buy the broth in the can, or some soups from the can, they're just too salty for me. So
a massive change in me with regards to eating properly. I had, you know, men when we get to be older, we tend to have a belly, don't we? A bit, yeah. Okay. And then what happened? I had quite a belly, and for my size, because I'm not very tall, for my size it was a bit too prominent, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have a friend who still comes here, and then his car was quite low. So when he took me shopping, while I didn't have a car during the pandemic, while he took me shopping, I had problem to go in his car. So I had to really lie down, put myself like that.
Oh my goodness, okay.
And then after a while, after a few months, I went into his car. Oh, I said to him, what's happening here? I don't have to do all this again. Yeah. And so I lost a lot of my ability.
So that's very positive about all the cooking you're doing at home and eating the vegetables. So Roger, I want to thank you so much for coming on my channel to talk about this with me, all the foods and the changes you've made in your life around food and what you like and what you don't like. And please, everyone, be sure to go check out his channel, Roger's World and Adventures. He does videos on wellness. They're very interesting. And the link to his channel is in the video description. And leave a comment below too. How about your tastes? Have they changed? Are you cooking more with the pandemic or eating healthier? Leave us a comment. Let us know what thoughts you have. So thanks a lot, Roger. It was great talking to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.